I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? We're back. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018. I keep on forgetting this now. 2018 Innovation Award winner and 2020 Best Podcast Award winner. Over the last 2 weeks, I don't know why I'm forgetting that, but let's get right. 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, we have reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. And actually, maybe I'll do it on the next show. We're actually hosting our first online fatherhood virtual summit coming up at the end of this month. So probably next time you're on, I'll talk a little bit more about it. But you know what? That's it. Yes. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala is back. We took a 2-show hiatus. One weekend was Labor Day long weekend. Another weekend says we just need a break. So we've been away for a while, which means there's mucho lato to chat abouto. And it's nonstop. So just to make you aware, Aisha is not feeling well, so she's not going to be with us tonight. But you know something? The show goes on, and you know what? We are ready to bring up first Laura Lala Key and also Dr. Tacciato.
Hey.
Hi, Dr. Tachi.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Dr. Tacciato is in the house. What is going on, ladies?
A lot. I have really been working hard on my sister's case.
Yes.
That's kind of taken over my life a lot. Got a couple of other things going on in real estate as well. Took 2 new listings in Los Angeles. I'm doing well.
Wow. And the flirty hair is in full prominence tonight. I love it. Dr. Tachi, what is going on in your world? We communicate a lot via the digital, but once in a while we get to see each other through a screen.
Yes, like today.
How are things with you?
Busy as per usual. I don't have 2 lavish listings in Los Angeles, but not everybody can be so blessed.
OMG. All right. So before we get to things, Primetime Saturday at Patreon, where you hear girlfriends chat.
Yeah, we had one this week, so it was really good, y'all.
The 3 amigos?
Yes, the 3 amigos.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That is,
yeah.
You know what? We may have to talk about, see if we can bring that to Indie Soup Media.
Oh, that's
it's fun. We really kick back and have fun.
Okay.
I can imagine.
I could imagine that too. Primetime Saturday store. There's the link.
Don't get your wine glasses because it's going to be a busy one until we get to election. Go on and get your wine glasses and your pajama bottoms and go on and order them now.
Is there Primetime Saturday wine glasses yet?
Yes.
A good product.
That probably was the first product, wasn't it?
That was exactly the first product.
Also, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We'd like to get to 1,600 subscribers. We're not like Indie Soup Media that's like 17,000. Excuse me. But also, so follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on the platform, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And since I put up on the screen, Dr. Tachi, what's going on with Indie Soup Media?
Well, so we're actually at 18,300.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, we're actually at 18,300. Mind you, we only started in March, so it's been exponential growth. We just ended last night. Most shows ended their season 2, so we will do 8 weeks of replays in case you missed the wonderful shows in the season 2, and we still have some shows like your shows that go continuously, so those won't have a break. But we'll come back in November for season 3 and all new shows and new creators too.
How many creators you got now?
See, this is where you're trying to make me laugh. I know there are 30 shows. So,
Wow.
yeah, and that's not counting creators that are coming on board. I haven't counted them yet. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And yeah, it never stops going. I feel blessed that I'm one of the few shows that providing continuous, somewhat up-to-date content.
Yeah.
So I'm getting very good at doing 1 hour editings these days, as you notice. So there we go. I got taught well by some former staff mates. So this is all good.
That's not an easy feat because we talk about a lot.
You know, what's a blessing, and I have to hail up Ben, who was an intern through the summer. And one of the things I asked him, I said, Ben, can you write a little guide on how you edit full shows, audio wise, full shows, video wise, and how he does the 1 hour? And his guide was just right on point. So it's made it, actually, it's more difficult to edit a show down to an hour than it is to just do edits for a full show. It's a certain gift that you have to do to know exactly what you're looking for. So
yes.
It's been cool. But yeah, so you know what? Before we go any further, there is in the house JJ Mars from Colorado. Give us the weather in Colorado. What's up? Everyone says hello to JJ Mars. I know you're going to be engaged in this conversation because a lot going on about election.
Yes.
Lord. All right. So you said yes, Lord. Oh God.
Yes, Lord.
Okay. So where am I going to go about this? There's one or two ways. Okay. Let's just go into this and talk about it. The upcoming Kamala Harris 45 debate.
I'm not still convinced that he'll show up.
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm really serious. I'm serious about that. You never know with him. The wind can blow to the west, and he'll decide that he doesn't like something, or then all of a sudden he'll go off on a tangent talking about ABC is fake news. I just don't believe anything at all about this man at all. I don't trust him. And the fact that he gets away with so much is angering. And I've actually had to step back from a lot of my feelings about this man because, you know what? I can't hurt my health over someone who is like him and his status. I just won't do it. So we know he's a liar. We know he's a blow in the winder. We know everything is always horrible news and I'm the best. And I can recite to you in my sleep how he responds to things. And it's just disheartening. You know, I would like to see a good debate, but we know what we're going to get. We know what we're going to get. We're going to have it live. We're going to have a watch party, right? Don't forget, guys, we're having a watch party with this. But don't expect anything new because he's going to stick to his same old script, period. Don't like him.
Dr. Tachi, you're just nodding and whatever. Talk to me.
Do you want me to add anything? She wrapped it up well. I am with her, although he may very well show up here. Here is the thing. He has never had to be called out on his rubbish ever. This is going to be the first time he is going to have to be held accountable for anything. Let's look at what's been happening. Even there's been a kowtowing, right? All these rules, all these things. And here's what I don't like. The rules have already been established for debates already. So all this back and forth is too much. It's an attempt to make sure that he looks good. It's not even about being for or against Kamala Harris. She's a seasoned politician. She's also a seasoned prosecutor, attorney. She knows what to do when it comes to those types of things. That trials go by debate. Okay. So that's not even an issue with her. This is going to be his issue because he's never had to be questioned per se. Not that he's never been involved in debates, but he's run the debates by his own rules the way he wants to. So this is going to be very interesting to see. I know one thing that the Harris team, of course, was pushing for open mics during this whole time. That just would have shown how unhinged he was. But apparently the mics will only be open when the respondent is speaking.
Correct.
And they said, I've seen some news reports, oh, this is a blow. It's not a blow. Because guess what? We can still see his mouth moving if he's saying
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it is not a blow at all. The thing is, you can try and put up safeguards to ensure that things follow the rules of debate. But when you have someone who does not like to follow rules and or thinks that the rules do not apply to him, you're not going to get a rule following individual. So he's going to follow rules this one time, all this time he hasn't been following rules. So it is not a blow at all. He's going to show exactly who he is. So even if we can't see him, we can see the body language of his antics. I mean, if he doesn't have any antics, there must have been, Jesus has come back. That's all I have to say.
Well, you know all his moves, all of the facial features. He's going to be doing all of that. But here's what's going to happen. So in case y'all don't know how it's going to be set up, it will be on ABC, 9 p.m.
I'm going to save you some air. I'm going to read through the rules for you.
Okay, I had them ready.
But so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put them up on the screen.
Great.
So we can go through. You can go through and any comments you have about the debate, these rules, please share.
Yeah.
So here we go. So it's going to be hosted by World News Tonight anchor and managing editor David Muir, and World News Tonight Sunday anchor and ABC News prime anchor Lindsay Davis. Lindsay, was she the same lady on the panel at the NABJ?
I don't think. No, that wasn't her.
Okay, so here are the rules. The debate will be 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks.
Yes.
The 2 seated moderators, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, will be the only people asking questions. A coin flip was held virtually on September 3rd to determine the podium placement and order of closing statements. Former President 45 won the coin toss and chose to select the order of statements. The former president will offer the last closing statement, and Vice President Harris selected the right podium on the screen, stage left. Candidates will be introduced by the moderators. Candidates enter upon introduction from opposite sides of the stage. The incumbent party will be introduced first. No opening statements. Closing statements will be 2 minutes per candidate. Candidates will stand behind podiums for the duration of the debate. Prompts or pre-written notes are not allowed on stage. No topics or questions will be shared in advance with campaigns or candidates. Candidates will be given a pen, a pad of paper, and a bottle of water. Candidates will have 2 minutes to answer questions, 2-minute rebuttals, and 1 extra minute for follow-ups, clarifications, or responses. Candidates' microphones will only be live for the candidate whose turn it is to speak and muted when the time belongs to the other candidate. Candidates will not be permitted to ask questions of each other. Campaign staff may not interact with candidates during commercial breaks. Moderators will seek to enforce timing agreements and ensure a civilized discussion. There will be no audience in the room.
He's going to derail everything. He's not going to stick on topic. We know that. He is going to do everything that he can with body language and facial expressions. And everything is going to be an insult or something to glorify him. He's going to call her names. He's going to disrespect her in every way possible. And I would be surprised if he does show up that he doesn't walk off.
Absolutely. He's proven, and this is not conjecture, this is not fable. He's proven that he is unhinged in public situations and in private situations too, but he is unhinged. I don't think there is going to be an all of a sudden locus of control that he is able to bring in when it comes to this, because he's never been able to do it before. And he's
no,
been
in any circumstance,
under any circumstance. But let's even just take debate. He's been through how many debates now? So 2 with the former, and then 1. So is this 3 debates? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
3 debates all together, and he's been unhinged in every single one. I highly doubt, with a 99.9% level of certainty, that he's going to be able to pull it together to become hinged for this debate. I really don't think so. And
I mean, he's going to just try to do the exact same thing that he's doing at the rallies. No surprises.
Because he's pandering to a certain demographic. And here's the thing. He is showman first. Remember, this guy is a TV personality. He is running things as if this is The Apprentice, because that's what he knows. He barely knows business. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that this is his field, so that's what he knows. That's how he ran the country the last time, and badly, because he's a bad business person. The fact that you're able to bully people into things does not make you a good business person. That makes you the mob.
It really does.
Interesting.
And the fact that his family is now going over and meeting, what y'all not really hearing when you really start digging into what's going on. Because if you really care about your country, don't just listen to the surface stuff that they're feeding you every day. Okay, that's the circus. What you need to be paying attention to is the deeper things that are going on. His family's over here in Saudi Arabia shaking hands with the Saudis. Like, they should be not making any deals at all. And they're over here picking all their people of who they're going to want to be in bed with again, because they're already in bed with them.
Right. And so there is a lot of presumptiveness on their part that they've already won this. And so why are you meeting with foreign governments? Why are you meeting with foreign entities? You're a former president. You don't hold a position now. That is not your call to do any of this. So the fact that, and we haven't even gotten to the fact of the trial yet, which we will, but the fact that you're allowed to do these things, and not that he listens when people tells him he can't do things anyway, but the fact that he's been allowed to do these things and there are no repercussions, quite honestly, that's troubling. But the people will speak.
All right.
But that's what my concern is, because you're either all the way in with him or you're all the way out with him. There is no middle ground with someone trying to make a decision of who they're going to vote for right now. I out of my bunches of people, they already know who they're going to vote for. I don't have any undecideds in my groups.
Yeah, even the independents, they already know that. I think it's a farce to say, oh, well, there are people that are still deciding. They are not still deciding. The thing is, he is a despicable individual, and people know he's a despicable individual, even the people that ride with him. So nobody wants to be known as, I'm voting for such and such. It's only the ones who really are unhinged and don't care that will come out and say that. But for the most part, you hear a quietness amongst that. They're not going to admit that they're voting for him. If they are, you'll never get that out of them. So that's where people know who they're voting for at this point.
Okay. So I just want to continue the conversation. There was an interesting article here on Al Jazeera saying, ahead of the presidential debate, how are Harris and 45 preparing? And interesting here about Harris's strategy. Both Harris and 45 campaigns have been mum about the tactics they plan to use for Tuesday's debate. After all, airing their strategies in public could blunt their efficacy. But Harris's team appears to be hoping to give 45 a runway to crash his own plane. Her campaign unsuccessfully called for 45's microphone to be unmuted between questions to allow him to speak out of turn. That was a reversal of what Biden's campaign had pushed for in June. Biden's team had hoped a muted microphone would stymie the outpost-prone 45, particularly with no audience in attendance. Instead, quote, it backfired, unquote, according to Call. He believes the silence gave 45 a more staid appearance, one that emphasized Biden's stumbles. Harris's team to be hoping for a repeat of an earlier 45 and Biden debate in Cleveland in 2020, when 45 made numerous interjections that read as chaotic. In turn, Biden was seen to come out on top. However, the Harris campaign's request to keep 45's microphone unmuted was untimely, ultimately denied. Martin Lewandowski, a political science professor at the University of Pennsylvania, said another Harris priority will be to use the debate stage to establish herself with the U.S. public. Harris only launched her presidential campaign 7 weeks ago. She has therefore had far less time in the national spotlight than 45. But critics point to her past debate performances as a positive sign going into Tuesday's event. During the 2020 election cycle, for instance, Harris took part in the presidential primary debates, and she generalized buzz for landing successful punches on her future boss, Biden. She also excelled in policy-heavy presidential debate against Mike Pence during the general election that same year. Harris, the former district attorney of San Francisco and attorney general of California, has a prosecutorial style, something she exercised during her time in the Senate. Her hard-knuckle questions during Senate committee hearings gained her a national profile. Lewandowski says Harris will aim to reprise that role on Tuesday's debate stage. She'll be looking to come off as tough and grill 45 and show she can run reboot about him. Quote, but of course, the danger is for her is that as a woman of color, she's in a tough position giving race and gender stereotypes about appropriate behavior, Lewandowski added. Quote, so far she seems very effective managing that tightrope, and this is her chance to highlight these skills on an even larger scale. I'll just read quickly what they say. 45 6 cents. Meanwhile, 45 will be making his 7th appearance in a general election debate, more than any candidate in U.S. history. He continues to be powered by one entrenched factor. According to Perry, he seems impervious to the standards applied to other candidates and their behavior. His base will support him no matter what. Quote, whatever rules there were have become immaterial to him. As you ladies have said, quote, Perry says, quote, he can't be pinned down. He can't be countered because it doesn't matter to the people who are locked in voting for him, unquote. But experts like Perry warn that 45 needs to expand his appeal upon his base in order to win the election in this November. Perry pointed out that 45 only won the presidency in 2026 thanks to the Electoral College, a weighted system where, quote, electors, unquote, are awarded based on state election results. The candidate who wins the most votes in a given state often wins all of those states' electors. In both 2016 and 2020, however, 45 lost the national popular vote, airing fewer votes overall than his Democratic rivals in each case. That means 45 still needs to attract voters outside his staunchest base to ensure victory, according to Perry. On the debate stage, 45, a former reality TV star, excels at, quote, a moving target, unquote, according to Call. The Republican has a knack for trapezing through tangents and launching non-secular attacks that can be confounding to opponents. So we're going to leave that. I could read more of it, but I think that gives you enough to send this one thing. And 45 continues to show uncanny instincts when it comes to capitalizing on camera-ready, politically significant moments, as evidenced by his defiant fist pump following an assassination attempt in July. Quote, he sure made that image that was captured the most politically advantageous to him, unquote. Quote, it's the same in debates. He has a spidery sixth sense of knowing when there is a key exchange or a moment in a debate that everyone's going to be talking about and could potentially go viral. I'll leave it at that. Ladies, you have anything else added to what I just shared there about some perspectives?
I already said what I need to say. That man doesn't even need it. If you ask me, he doesn't even need, and nor does he deserve to be on the debate, period. This man has been convicted of 34 counts. And the special privileges that they are giving this man, had it been anybody else, and especially a person of color, he would have never been able to be at this point. So I am really over the fact that he's getting so much privilege. And this is the perfect example of white privilege, especially with people with money, which we all know he ain't got none, but he likes to sit up there and pretend like he does. The power that white people will stand behind, regardless of what's not all. Let me clarify what I just said, because there are definitely pure MAGA people. There are differences. And we saw differences when it came to the DNC, where people from the other side who care about our country more than they do party came out and spoke about their truths. Okay. But the fact that this man is still able to run for president of my country with so much hate and so much lies and so much criminality is disgusting to me.
Media needs to be very careful of how they're saying things. And, you know, reading these, the assessments and accounts, they'll go to such and such political science professor at such and such. And that's a very academic view of things. So the point is, she's just good, regardless of what her background is, a person of, let's just look at her record in general. She's just good. Okay. She has proven over and over that she's good at what she does. So
they don't
the
want to
fact,
see it.
Well, exactly. But the fact that media outlets will keep bringing up just as you said, navigating the woman of color thing and the appropriate behavior. I was about to say something, but I'm not going to say it. That's what keeps, quote, people of color in their place. The fact that there is supposed to be appropriate behavior. And I would say that's even extended to Democrats as a whole, right? Not that every person of color is a Democrat. That's not what I'm saying. But the side that is on the side of right, and there is always a right and wrong when it comes to these types of things. And in this case, the side of right is trying to preserve this union, trying to uplift the country, trying to unite the country. That is the side of right. There is clearly a candidate who is not on the side of right. And
never has been.
And never has been on the side of right, right? He's on his side. Okay. He's on his side at all times. So that very fact shows that there is a right and wrong, and media needs to get it right. And this is interesting. I was interviewing somebody on Be More who was at the NABJ, who was a journalist who was there, and we talked about this. And she made Anna Deshawn, she made the comment that from the time we were little, we're taught that there is a right and wrong. And there is always a right and wrong. But in the case of media, sometimes there tends to be a maybe. And we need to stop with that. If somebody is wrong, they're just carte blanche wrong. And we need to say that. Media needs to stop injecting some of these things, because that also has an opinion. That also forms opinion in the public mind of who a candidate is as well, especially in the age of partisan politics and shows that cater to partisan politics. So media needs to be careful. I'll say that.
Well, I'll tell you, this week it was very interesting because there was a Fox anchor that really called him out on his BS. He literally said to Trump, I'm tired of it. You keep lying to us. We keep trying to protect you and you keep lying to us. And I feel like that is a positive turn in some ways, because we all have to be careful what media we're watching. I don't strictly watch CNN. I don't strictly watch MSNBC. I don't even look at Fox, because Lord Jesus help me. But, you know, I will look at a lot of international things because I will get the real truth outside of what America is pumping into your living rooms and making you angry about. When you look at what the world is looking at and what the world is reporting, you're going to get the truth. Well, you may not always get 100%. You surely going to get about 90% of it. And what the world is really thinking about our country right now. That is what concerns me more than anything else. Because you see, when people, other countries who wish demise upon us, they see when we're weak, they see an opportunity to come in and attack, which they're already starting to plan and already starting to do. There was a lot of African bigwigs that went to China for some big summit. And China was like, here's our message to you. You partner with us. We all know that China, Russia, all those places are gathering together to even in money. So when they start talking about money and making money universal for them and exchanging for them, we are in danger. So it's not just that. They're trying to see who's going to be the head of America. And if you noticed, Putin actually came out and was like, we're kind of pulling for Harris. And that made Trump lose his mind. It was also, to me, like a throw off. So it's more detailed than what we're talking about here. This is bigger than any debate. Mm-hmm. This is bigger than any election. Mm-hmm. This is big for our country in the fact that, are we a superpower or are we not? Because right now in the world, we are not.
Really quickly, if I may.
Well, just stop saying really quickly. Take your time.
Well, because I know that sometimes we need to move on to things.
No, I will give you the signal if we need to move on.
Okay. I don't want to be the one to belabor the point.
No, go ahead.
I think that you brought up something very interesting when you brought up the summit that the African leaders were at, and we're talking about looking at Russia, looking at China as powers, obviously, and really trying to leverage other countries so that they could get more power, right? To the chagrin of the US. And so really, I'm cautioning, especially as an African myself, I'm cautioning African countries to make sure you're on the right side of this. Make sure you are on the right side of this. That doesn't mean you get all involved, but let's be honest that what happens in the US really does have an effect on what happens in the rest of the world, because it is deemed a superpower, right? Things are done, even though the dollar is losing in importance, it still has importance. So our currency is still important. Our foreign policy is still important. So when you have to watch what happens here in terms of how you move in the rest of the world. That doesn't mean it determines how you move, but you take it into consideration. So while you're being courted, and we all know, I'm going to say it here, we know that some of those other people that are coming towards African countries, we'll give you money for your capital projects. They're doing it to also, usurp minerals and things so be careful, but also be careful of who you align yourself with in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so a few things. As you talk about the China-Africa Summit tomorrow, live at 5 p.m. on Black Canada Talking. That's one of the subjects that Sidar Nadima Musa is going to be talking about. Mm-hmm. And Cesar is a bona fide Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
So he will be chatting about that also. I think that Ms. Harris is in trouble based on especially this comment. No fact checking is going to be allowed during the debate. Is that a good thing or a not good thing?
I'm not worried about her.
No. See, the whole lack of fact checking thing, let's be real. And I saw this somewhere that in real life, when these things happen, you don't have a fact checker that's running around behind you. To be honest, the fact checking is to make sure that a 140, one who calls himself 45 is not telling half truth or whatever. And I think that people are making this out to be more doomsday than it really is. Okay, so there are no fact checkers there. But what happens the day after a debate? The fact checkers come out and things then unfold. So I don't think that not having live fact checking in the moment is the death of the whole thing. Not at all. To the contrary, it gives time to ensure that you have accurate facts when you do come out and say, well, no, this was not 100% true. And here's the thing. So I don't think fact checking live in the moment, I think it slows down the debate in a sense, if that is taken into account. We already know he's not going to be factual. He is very consistent in that he is a consistent liar. He is not going to be
the only consistency.
That's the only time he's consistent. So the fact that there's no fact checking, he's been giving alternative facts all along. So it's not her necessarily we have to worry about. Now, to the extent, on Harris's side, to the extent that some of these things are as large or critical as is stated, that's another thing, because that's also another side of fact checking, which should be done for all candidates involved. However, we already know he's going to lie. He lies all the time. He always lies. So fact checking in the moment, there's not going to be enough time to fact check everything that he is going to be untruthful about. I don't think it's a killer at all.
And matter of fact, the fact checking would take over the whole debate as much as he lies.
Exactly. There would be no debate.
Oh my goodness. So what's a bigger concern to your lens? Because both you are Harris supporters. What's a bigger concern? Not being able to fact check or the not be able to unmute microphone? Or either
I'm not worried about either. Because we already said we're going to see his body language. We already know that. I don't need, like I told you, I hear him in my sleep. I hear him everywhere I go. I know what his script is.
You need to get a better life, young lady.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. If somebody mentions his name, I know exactly what he's saying. And it's always negative and it's always bad. So we know his key phrases, right? We all know his key phrases. So I'm not worried about any of that. And matter of fact, it is good maybe that the mics are muted so that you can focus on what is actually being said.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because he's going to show his unhingedness, which is not a word, but he's going to show it anyway.
Dr. Chachi, every time you're live with us, you come up with a new word. When's your dictionary coming up? When's your dictionary being released?
I'm going to make you some t-shirts.
Well,
that's a good idea. And I already have a t-shirt line.
Yeah, she has a t-shirt line. So there you go right there.
Yeah.
So all this is leading up to something that's happening this Tuesday, family. So this Tuesday, we are having a live watch party in real time with the debate with Ms. Harris, 45. So the debate's going to be on wherever you're watching this. As long as you're watching this before September 10th, 2024, before 10:30 p.m., but between 9 p.m. and 10:30 Eastern, we are going to have, these are our scheduled guests. So from my left to right on the top, Aisha K. Staggers, Lala Key, Jill Jones, Ms. Jill Jones, and Dr. Tachi. And then the bottom row, Wayne Harris, who's on my Morning Vibe show once a month, Ryan Knight from ACBN, and Cesar Nadima Musa. Now, the fun thing is, yes, we have African queens and African kings. The queens are all from the United States. The kings are all from Canada.
I love it.
Yeah. To have a true international conversation about the debate. So again, please, if you are around, tell your family, because this is probably going to be one of the most significant, at least political events for a number of years. And not only just in North America, but globally. This is going to have global impact for years to come. So, ladies, what are your thoughts about this watch party? Are you excited?
I'm excited to be my first time. I've never done a watch party.
And you know, I always say this. I try to be as non-political as possible because it could just work your nerves and take you to a place you don't want to go.
Like Lala.
Exactly. So, but I think it's important to participate in this process. I definitely do have an opinion on this, so I'm excited to share that, and not just the opinions, but the facts of the matter.
Mm-hmm. Aisha gonna be ready.
And Jill Jones.
And Jill Jones.
I haven't. Mm-hmm. Jill Jones has not been on our platform for a long time. Now, the funny thing is, Jill may get mad at me at this, but the last time Jill was on the platform and it was political was the last election, last presidential. And do you remember this, Lala?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
It was hot.
No,
it was beyond hot.
And Jill was, and these were the early returns because Mr. Biden won eventually, but the early returns were showing that 45 was going to win. Jill got so upset she left the broadcast. She was so, and she had some words for a certain group, cultural group, saying, "I'll never support you again. I'll never." And it was crazy. It was crazy. It was nuts. But I think it'll be maybe a little bit more control this time. But I think I have 7 of the most wonderful people that I know together. I'm praying that it's behavioral to a certain extent, but if it isn't, hey, we're just gonna go with the flow. So, as we say, again, September 10th, 9 p.m. Eastern, wherever you're watching this, and all the participants who come on, if they can put it on their channels too, and I'm going to encourage them to do that, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. So, as a famous pastor said, get ready, get ready, get ready. So, we're going to come back in 30 seconds, take a break, and we're going to continue how 45 seems to be escaping any political challenges. So we're going to come back in 30 seconds. Primetime Saturday with Aisha Lala. Join Aisha K. Staggers and Lala Key as they cut through the chaos and make some sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
But you still got to give him the respect that he has been doing this a long time.
Sharp insights, bold opinions, and a touch of humor. It's the show that keeps you informed and entertained.
Nobody's talking about that. Aisha, that's pretty powerful.
Don't miss Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Tune in and stay ahead of the headlines. All right, and that's why we're here, to stay ahead of the headlines. So, next headline. Judge delays 45 sentencing in hush money case until after the November election. What is that all about? Oh, my.
So,
okay, go ahead. I didn't even ask. Dr. Tachi's in already. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I usually like to defer to the regular hosts on this before I speak.
No, you're a regular.
Go right in.
Don't even go there. You are a regular. Keep on going.
So this is in terms of what I read, and I can see some modicum of truth in this, that and then I'll give my feeling that the request was made, right? Obviously, the person that is the prosecutor in this case is a Democrat, and they know this. And in order to avoid looking like this is political, that's why that decision was made, to make sure that it was done after the election. Now, let me speak as me. I can understand why that was done. And I do see this, but this is the thing. It's always one side that is kowtowing to look fair, and the other side doesn't give a damn how they look. There is no way. I don't care if there's an election going on or not. It doesn't matter. You were indicted on 34 counts of stuff. You did something. You did something. And the whole thing with this hush money case, you did something, even though he's denying that he even knows this person. So what's that money to her for? You didn't know? Okay, whatever. So he did something. If you do something wrong, you need to be punished and prosecuted for it under no uncertain terms. But this slippery lizard keeps getting away with everything. And that's the troubling thing here, because it sends a troubling message, right? That if you are a despicable individual that has deep enough pockets, or friends with deep enough pockets, or people that want to see the downfall of things, you could get away with anything. And that's very troubling. He absolutely, I don't care, election or not, withstanding, this needs to be taken care of expediently. However, on their side, I could see why they don't want this to look as if it is a political move. So they're treading carefully and treading lightly. But if you ask me, I don't care. Like your mother said, your mother would say, I don't care who that is. I don't care what you did. I don't care unless it's Jesus coming back. You're going to be punished for whatever it is. We need to use that same energy, keep that same energy with him.
Can I just say ditto?
Okay.
I'm tired. I'm really tired. It's happened over and over and over. And there have been times where I have gotten my hopes up that justice would be served, and it was never served. So I keep thinking about how our communities, had this been anybody else other than him, we would be under the jail. If they could, they'd hang us up by the ropes once again, because that's what they want to make America great about again, is going back to those times. But yet you have people who are proudly walking around talking about, I'm going to vote for the felon. What in the hell? Had this been anyone else, this would have not been the circumstance whatsoever. So it's very disheartening. I do understand why it's being done, because Lord knows they would have come out with all the guns talking about, now they're trying to do something to the election and blah, blah. No, that was your party. You only worried about what you've done in your side. That's why you're so afraid of someone else doing this to you. You try to hide what you've done with loudspeakers. So I'm very disappointed in this whole thing. I understand why it's being done, but once again, I defer to, there shouldn't be any reason this man should be running in the first place. Should be automatic knocked out.
But I said a long time ago, I don't think we'll ever see this gentleman in jail, and I'm still saying I don't think he'll ever be in jail.
I know you do, Dr. Vibe, and I always hear you. I don't want you to think that I don't hear you, but my heart doesn't want to hear you, because I always want to feel that our country has some kind of honor, and I have to hold on to that. Or else, why would I be fighting so hard? Why would I be sitting, even talking to you and discussing with you and our audience things that are going on in our country if I give up all the way? I've got to believe that we are going to come back to some type of moral center. And I don't know what that's going to take. And I don't know if that's going to be seen in my lifetime. I don't know if that's something that my grandchildren, which I don't have any, but my great nieces and nephews will get. All I know, as for me and my house, I am an American. And I will always be an American. And no matter how effed up America can be, I still stand for my country. And so I have to believe that something will be done, or else I give up all hope on my country.
Well said. Well said. There's despite everything, and despite the fact that every day I'm like, this country is going to hell in a handbasket, and it's already there. Despite the fact that I say that every day, it's kind of like, yeah, I can say that. Because I'm here on a daily basis to see the rubbish and see the thing. It's like somebody talking about Nigeria. I'll talk about Nigeria all day long, but other people can't. You can't talk about Nigeria, right? So it's that whole thing of needing to hold on to something. You have to. You cannot live in a country and believe that there is no hope. I mean, Dr. Vibe, I'm not Canadian, even though I grew up on the border. I'm not Canadian, but imagine this be happening in Canada. I can't ever, but imagine this happening in Canada, and the fact that you would have no hope that the choices are democracy or dictatorship. That's what we're faced up against now. So there has to be this fight. There has to be this belief. I very much believe in manifestation. When you put things out into the air, they manifest. So you have to manifest hope and faith and goodness. That's just on another level. But yeah, so you have to believe, like Lala is like, you have to believe because there is no choice.
Is 45 above the law?
I'd like to think nobody is, but right now I have to say he seems to be.
He is not above the law. Okay, sorry, tropics. He is not.
I get it. The no seals will get
you. If I can get that as an outtake one day, I gotta do that. But go on.
Feel free. These tropics. Yeah. He is not above the law, but here's the thing. It's not even about him. I think sometimes we're missing the entire point. It is not about him per se. It is about an ideology that keeps certain groups of people first. And if he is the test case for being above the law, so can all of them. Does that make sense? So it's less about him and more about upholding this system that has been ingrained. And by the way, America was built on to keep certain people first at all times. And if these certain people can skirt the laws and be above the laws, if I can put people in courts so that I can skirt the laws, well, then guess what? This test case has been successful, and all people in that same class of individual can do that. So not about him. It's about a cohort of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So does 45, especially with him skirting the law, just amplify a system that's just been in existence for hundreds of years in America?
Yes.
Yes.
This
From the
system,
very beginning.
yes, painfully broken. It was built. Listen, this
Part.
country.
I know what you're going to say. This part. Say it, Dr. Tessie, say it.
This part. This country was predicated and built on the fact of, now, in order to have an upper class, you have to have a lower class. I can't have too many people in the upper class because then there's not enough for me. And I think as a member of the upper class that I'm entitled to everything. Never mind that there's enough for everybody. Nope, I'm entitled to everything. So it's entitled to everything. There's a sense of entitlement that we deserve because of birthright and who we are. We deserve everything, all of it. None for you. You're not deserving, only us. Therefore, I have to put in place a system that ensures you remain on the bottom and fool you.
Forget that you've already been here.
Never mind that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And fools you into thinking you deserve to be on the bottom because of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Because it fools you into believing that, and you'll use organized religion. You'll use terror. You'll use anything to ensure that you stay on top. It's very simple.
Ditto.
So let me play out this scenario then. If 45 wins the election, will we ever see him in jail?
No. They're going to make everything center around him and make the new precedent, because there's not been a precedent before for this. This will be the new protocol for anything else that ever happens. But don't forget, he's already told you, you won't have to vote again once he gets in, because that's a pesky little detail about running a country. This pesky voting, you don't need that.
First of all, let's be clear. He's running for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's the type of person, he's a colonizer. He's the type of person that has to colonize every space that he's in and conquer every space that he's in. And when he's conquered what he's already working on, he has to go to, that's the only way he had the real audacity to run in the first place. Who told you could run? But that's that audacity, right? To think that I could. So that's one thing, to conquer and colonize. That's one thing. Secondly, this man does not want to go to prison. Okay. So he's thinking, if he wins, slim chance that he wins, he will be able to bypass all of this nonsense and rise above, because they stacked the courts. They did all sorts of things. So, but there are loopholes in there. As I've started to read, I'm like, it feels like there's some loopholes and things in there. They didn't really do their due diligence in terms of that. I'll leave it there. But yeah.
We're going to be seeing things that we've never seen before, period, historically, all the way across the board, period. Yes. So we don't know what to expect for this, because there isn't anything set to go by for this. So if that happens, which my little heart says it's not, because I know we're fighting tooth and nail, and I don't believe in polls. I don't get into those. I know they're running neck and neck in each polls. But see, when you get too comfortable on polls, then you get too comfortable and you might not vote. So you need to vote like this is your life, because it is. And that's not a scare tactic. That literally is true. If you're not down with what the other side is, whatever side you're in, you got to get out to the polls, period. And be very vigilant about making sure that you are registered to vote, because there are some shenanigans right now going on. I am a registered voter in Florida. And I check our votes every week. And guess what? My husband's got kicked off the roll for no reason at all. So we had to go back in, get him re-registered again. There was no reasons. He's voted in all of the primaries and all of the local elections. So I'm telling you from experience, you need to check weekly about your vote, because we are entering into something that is completely unprecedented, and it's not good for our country.
Especially if your state has a diabolical governor like Florida
Dr.
does.
Tachi, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, several ways. You can, like it says on the screen right there, Dr._Tachi on Instagram is a great way to get in touch with me. I'm also Dr._Tachi on a lot of other platforms as well, including YouTube, which is a great way. Make sure you like and subscribe my personal YouTube channel. But I'm also the founder of Indie Soup Media, which this show we have replays of on, and you can watch us Monday through Thursday from 4 o'clock till about 9, and then on Fridays from 5 o'clock to 10:30. Lots of great shows. So check us out on all platforms, but YouTube is our biggest one.
Thank you. Her name is Lala, and she makes it short and sweet.
I do, because I am on so many platforms, and it's so easy to just go to this little site here, bit.ly/Laura Key Info. You can find me there and get some free resources. Guys, you know what? I cannot stress to you how important it is for you to own a piece of land. Even if it's a condo and you want a big house, you got to start somewhere. So I'm really going to be pushing you and challenging you to get into home ownership, because you have to have a sanctuary to come back home and build your generational wealth. So I have a lot of free resources here at this site as well.
All right. Land can never go wrong with land. All right. So here's where you can get a hold of me. Website, the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at the drvibeshow.com. X/Twitter, when I take time to do there, which probably isn't too much, at drvibeshow.com. Email address, dr.vibe@the drvibeshow.com. And let's just do some stuff here. Primetime Saturday at Patreon. Girlfriends Chat. Check it out. Primetime Saturday store. The link is there. Check out merchandise. Gonna see if we do those. We're gonna do those wine glasses for the election. Also, join the Primetime Saturday Discord group at dr.vibe@the drvibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also follow me on YouTube, not only on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I am part of, feel free to email me, dr.vibe@the drvibeshow.com. This is how we're going to end it off. Live your life as a dream if you can dream it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourselves grace. And again, looking forward to seeing everyone on Tuesday night. I am so excited. This is going to be an incredible event. So let me just play us out correctly. And I'm going to do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.